So have you noticed that you've got a winging scapula, or do you notice that your shoulder blade pokes out from your back when you're doing exercise or you're sitting in a certain position? Because I get asked this quite regularly in the clinic, what's causing it and how can you correct kind of that winging or scapula or shoulder blades? So the muscle that controls the movement of the shoulder blade and keeps it kind of flush against the rib cage is the serratus anterior. So this muscle wraps around your ribs and attaches on the underside of your shoulder blade, and it controls that kind of the movement of the shoulder blade, but actually acts as a stabilizer, so it keeps it nice and stable against your rib cage. Now, the other thing is, if this muscle is not working correctly, then you might notice some weakness in the shoulder. Because your shoulder blade is kind of the anchor point of a lot of your shoulder musculature, if the serratus anterior isn't holding that shoulder blade stable, then you're going to get a little bit more movement in it, which means that you've got an unstable foundation for the shoulder. So that's why you might notice that when you're doing weights in the gym or you do certain activities, that your shoulder feels weak. So there's a couple of exercises you can do to really focus on the serratus anterior, try and activate it and strengthen it. So I'm going to run through some of those exercises today in this video. So the first progression, you're going to get into quadruped position with your knees hip width apart, directly below your hips, hands shoulder width apart, directly below your shoulders. Make sure your back is in a neutral position, so there's going to be a slight curve in your lower back, but it's generally going to be quite flat. Then before we start any movement, you're going to try and tuck your triceps into your armpits. You're going to externally rotate your arms, keeping your hands pushed into the floor. So it's kind of like you're trying to twist your arm outwards, but you're going to push your hand into the floor and then externally rotate. You're going to hold that position, nice flat back, and the movement is you're going to drop your chest towards the floor. So what you're trying to essentially do is squeeze your shoulder blades together, letting your chest drop towards the floor. Then as you come out of that, you're going to go past that position up towards the ceiling. So you're not going to stop level with the shoulder blades, you're going to push it up towards the ceiling. And you're going to repeat that motion. So make sure that you're still twisting those arms, drop your chest towards the floor, extend it up towards the ceiling. Good, and you're going to repeat that for the desired number of repetitions. Now, you can increase the difficulty of that exercise going from the quadruped position to a kneeling presser position, so the movement is exactly the same. Externally rotate your arms, push your hands into the floor, get a nice straight back, engage the shoulder blades, drop your chest towards the floor, and again come out of it, and repeat that again. And you can go a step further by going into a presser position and doing exactly the same. So rotating your hands, engage the serratus anterior, and do the same motion again. So this first position is your quadruped. Make it a little bit more difficult going into kneeling press up, and you can also then go even harder into a press up position. Now there's another variation you can do in a plank position, which you might find a little bit easier to get that kind of motion you're trying to achieve. So you're going to go up into a plank position, nice and strong, squeeze your glutes, tuck under, and then with your back you're going to drop it towards the floor and come out of that position again. So you might find you want to start in that position first, because you might get more accustomed to that kind of movement we're trying to achieve before you're going out into your straight arms. So that's the first exercise. Second exercise, again, you're going to be into like the quadruped position, but this time you're going to lift your knees off the floor. So you're in a bear crawl position. From here, you can walk forwards and walk backwards, nice and controlled. So it's a slow motion, and you still, again, as you're doing that, trying to get that kind of twist in the arm as well. So pushing the floor and engaging your serratus anterior. So you can go forwards you can go back. You can also, in this position, go side to side. So that's a kind of bear crawl going forward and backwards, and you've got a lateral bear crawl as well. So again, it's really important to kind of engage your shoulder blade position. Externally rotate the hands if you can, twisting the triceps into your armpits to fully engage the serratus anterior. The next exercise you can do for that as well is, again, in that kind of bear crawl position, twist your elbows, nice strong position, and you're just going to do some shoulder taps. Great. So you've got 3 exercises you can do there to target the serratus anterior, try and activate it, strengthen it up to help with the movement of the shoulder blade, the scapula. There's other exercises you can do with bands, but I'll show that in another video.